I whispered to myself, barely daring to breathe the words aloud. No, I just. My parents had made their decision months ago. They believed this marriage was for my own good, a bright future with. The morning of the wedding felt suffocating. The walls of my childhood home suddenly seemed like a cage. Every GLA. I sat in my room, staring at the dress they laid out for me. White, delicate, and empty. Like the life they planned for me. A knock on the door startled me. It's time, Lana. I swallowed my fear and followed, feeling every step take me further away from who I wanted to be. Then, as I passed the hallway, a faint sound stopped me. Voices. Whispered words I wasn't meant to hear. I crept closer. She has no choice. Then, a pause. And the SECR. My heart hammered. What? That night, alone in my. But little did I know, the secret they buried would shatter my world forever. The morning after overhearing that chilling conversation, I couldn't shake the feeling that everything around me was built on lies. I had always trusted my family, believed in their decisions, but now doubt gnawed at me like a relentless shadow. My parents had painted this marriage as a blessing, a gateway to a better future, but what future was that if it wasn't mine? I spent the day pretending everything was normal, smiling politely at relatives, accepting congratulations I didn't want, all while my mind raced, trying to piece together the meaning of the secret. After dinner, I retreated to my room, desperate for answers. I started searching through old family albums, letters, anything that could hint at what they were hiding. That's when I found it. A faded photograph slipped between the pages of a dusty album, a picture of my father with a woman I had never seen before. Her eyes, sharp and cold, sent a chill down my spine. On the back, a single word was scribbled: lies. My fingers trembled as I traced the letters. Who was she? Why had no one ever mentioned her? Determined to learn more, I confronted my mother the next morning. Her face tightened when I showed her the photo. That was a long time ago, she said, voice strained. Some things are better left forgotten. But I wasn't satisfied. I needed to know why this secret was worth forcing me into a life I never wanted. That night, I found myself sneaking out to visit my grandmother, the only family member I trusted completely. She lived in a small, quiet house at the edge of town, far from the prying eyes and whispered lies of my family. Under the dim light of her kitchen, I told her everything: the wedding, the secret I had overheard, the photo. Her eyes filled with sorrow, and she whispered, Lana, your family's past is darker than you think. You must be careful. She handed me an old, leather-bound journal. This belonged to your mother's sister. She knew things. Dangerous things. If you want answers, start here. As I opened the journal, the weight of my family's hidden history settled on my shoulders. The pages revealed betrayals, forbidden love, and a secret that could destroy us all. And at the heart of it was the reason I was being forced to marry. A deal made long before I was born, a debt owed in blood. I realized then that my fight wasn't just for my freedom. It was for my survival. The weight of the leather-bound journal felt heavier with every page I turned. My grandmother's warnings echoed in my mind as I delved deeper into the secrets my family tried so hard to bury. The journal belonged to my late aunt, a woman shrouded in mystery, someone who had dared to defy the family's rigid rules. Her words painted a picture of love, betrayal, and dangerous alliances that stretched far beyond what I had imagined. One entry caught my eye. A promise made under the moonlight binds us still. Lana's future was never hers to choose, a debt passed down like a curse. Only the breaking of this chain can free her. I shivered. What was this promise? What debt? And who was it made with? Determined to find out, I confronted my father that evening. The confrontation was nothing like I expected. He was cold, distant, almost defeated. His eyes held a secret pain, but he refused to speak. You have to understand, he said finally, this marriage is about protecting you and our family. There are forces beyond your comprehension. I wanted answers, but his silence only deepened the mystery. Days later, I met with an old family friend, Mr. Eris, who had known my parents long before I was born. Nervously, I showed him the journal. He sighed deeply. Your family owes a debt to a powerful man, one who doesn't forgive or forget. This marriage is a way to settle that debt, to keep the peace. But at what cost? I asked. Your freedom. Your happiness. That night, I lay awake, torn between anger, fear, and a growing resolve. I wouldn't be a pawn in their game. I would find a way to break the curse, to rewrite the story. But as I was falling asleep, my phone buzzed with a message from an unknown number. Some secrets are better left buried. Stop digging, Lana. The game had only just begun. The warning message sent a chill down my spine, but it didn't scare me, not enough to stop me. If anything, it fueled the fire burning inside me. I knew I was up against something dangerous, something bigger than I had imagined. But I wasn't going to let fear control my life anymore. I started by gathering evidence. Late at night, I scoured old letters, phone records, and anything that could shed light on the debt my family owed. With the help of my childhood friend Eileen, who was savvy with technology, I traced some of the cryptic messages and found connections to a powerful businessman named Mr. Salim, a man with a ruthless reputation and a tight grip on our town. The deeper I dug, the more I realized how tightly my family was entangled in his web. One evening, I confronted my father again. This time, I was prepared. Why didn't you tell me the truth? I demanded, my voice shaking but firm. Why are you forcing me into this marriage with someone I don't even know? His eyes filled with sorrow. I was trying to protect you, Lana. But maybe protecting you meant sacrificing your happiness. That night, I made a decision. I would no longer be a victim. I would fight for my freedom, even if it meant standing alone. But Mr. Salim wasn't someone who backed down easily. Weeks later, as I returned home from Eileen's, I noticed a black car parked across the street. Its windows tinted, its engine quietly humming. My heart raced. Inside, I saw a shadowy figure watching. The warning was clear: stop now, or face the consequences. I clenched my fists. This was my life, my choice. And I was ready to face whatever came next. The days that followed were a blur of whispered threats and sleepless nights. Every shadow seemed to hide a watcher, every phone call carried an ominous silence. But beneath the fear, a fierce determination burned brighter than ever. I was no longer the scared girl trapped by secrets. I was Lana, and I was fighting back. With Eileen's help, I uncovered more than just debts and deals. There were names, powerful people who thrived on control and silence. Mr. Salim wasn't just a businessman, he was a puppeteer, weaving threads that reached into every corner of my family's life. One evening, Eileen handed me a file. "This is what we've been looking for," she said softly. Inside were emails, bank transfers, and secret meetings that linked my father, Mr. Salim, and a mysterious woman. Someone no one had ever mentioned. Her name was Mira. The woman in the photo matched the woman from the faded picture in the old family album. The woman whose cold eyes haunted my dreams. Mira was the key. The next day, I confronted my father again. His face was pale, tired. For the first time, he didn't deny. "Mira was your mother's sister," he confessed. "She disappeared years ago after a scandal, accused of betrayal, of turning against the family." "But why keep her a secret?" I pressed. "Because she knew things. Dangerous things. She threatened to expose the deal with Salim unless we silenced her." My world shifted. The forced marriage was a cover-up, a way to keep the past buried and protect the family's name. But at what cost? That night, as I lay awake, a plan formed in my mind. I couldn't run from this shadow anymore. I had to face it head-on. The next day, I went to meet Mr. Salim. I told him I knew everything: the debt, the lies, the threats. I demanded freedom. But he only smiled, cold and cruel. "You think you can break the chains, Lana? Your family's past isn't so easily erased." Suddenly, the room darkened. Men appeared from the shadows, surrounding me. Fear surged, but I stood tall. "I'm not afraid anymore," I said, voice steady, "because the truth is on my side." At that moment, the police burst in, sirens blaring. Eileen had tipped them off, and they were ready to arrest Salim and his men for corruption and intimidation. As they led Salim away in handcuffs, I felt a strange mix of relief and sorrow. My family's secrets were finally unraveling. The dark past that had threatened to consume me was exposed. But the scars remained. In the weeks that followed, I began to rebuild my life, on my own terms. I cancelled the forced wedding. I enrolled in university far away, chasing my own dreams. And sometimes, late at night, when the world was quiet, I would think of Mira, the woman who had dared to fight, and whose courage had finally given me the strength to break free. Because sometimes, the darkest secrets lead to the brightest